There you go.
I hope you can hear me. I'm a
Right.
bit laggy at the minute, so I'm hoping that'll even itself out in a minute. If you're coming in here for the first time, this is the Shankly's Boot Room. Started it a few months back, really. And, and basically my reason for starting this channel is this man I got on here with me today, because I was so inspired by him when I first started watching him. I'm talking about Jamie here, of course. It just encouraged me so much to think, well, why not have a go at it? I've been supporting the club for a long, long time, of course. So, but I just love this club so much. So big up, Jamie. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you can hear me. I hope I'm not lagging too much.
No, it's getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better.
Better, yeah. Brilliant stuff. Okay.
Yeah, you could.
We've got a few of you in here. Just give us a hello and a like up in there. It'd be really appreciated. Right, Jamie, let's get into this, man. Well, I want to come at this from a different angle here a little bit, because I've been saying to people for a few days now, well, for a little while actually, that I think all along Newcastle have been trying to play this like, okay, Isak's not for sale, and I reckon they've just been trying to wind down the window. It's so obvious. They're just trying to wind down the window. Oh, we've got no time, and then go to the Newcastle fans and say, look, this is the situation. We've been trying. We can't manage to get our targets over the line, so Isak's going to have to stay. And I reckon that's really been one of the plays of it. Even though we know from our perspective that he's wanted to leave the club for a year, that talks broke down, the sporting director left. He was promised higher wages, wasn't given that contract. But then for about the last year, he just said, look, I want to leave. And he reminded him again before the end of the season, I want to leave. And, the way how it's just sort of all unfolded. But the thing that really got me today was this one, when I saw this message here. Sorry, I have to put my glasses on, getting a bit old now,
I've got my readers as well, don't worry.
Which says, this is Craig Hope, with each day passing, it's another day where a target's gone. Imagine that. The chances of Isak not being allowed to leave increase. Newcastle strong hand in getting him back on board is the way that they can say we tried. Okay, so that bit's fine there. Then it goes on to say some more. But I just want to attach to that bit there, where as each day passes, it looks more like Isak to leave. But now, of course, with the Ornstein bomber, which I call that bomber, I really do. Now, David Ornstein is a very, very respected journalist who would never even go anywhere near saying all this stuff. Would never have even gone anywhere near saying something like that if it weren't true. So we know that's true, and we know all the information's behind it's true because we've heard this before. So The point I'm trying to make is now Newcastle have cornered themselves into such a position where he's given the ultimatum, look, even if Liverpool, you don't sell me to Liverpool and the window closes, I'm not playing for you. Whatever happens, you've had enough time to get this sorted. This is on you. I want to go to Liverpool, get the deal sorted, get your strikers in, because I just think they're delaying it. I don't know what you think.
Yeah. No, it does seem like that. If rumours are true that he told them last summer that he wants to leave, and then in May apparently he told them he wants to leave, then as you say, Newcastle have known this for a long time. You could argue Newcastle have known this for 12 months now. And it looks like the owner absolutely loves Alexander Isak. He's his favourite player. He absolutely loves him. He doesn't want him going anywhere. And because of that, like you say, I think they are playing a game where, if they don't get a striker, that's not a problem because we've still got Alexander Isak here. And they're playing him along. And I think what Alexander Isak has found out, he's been played along by Newcastle and broken promises have happened. So he's kicking up a stink. And the fact that the matter is now, I think their relationship's completely broken. I don't think it can be repaired. Alexander Isak looks at Newcastle right now and believes they've lied to him and they're making him look like the idiot and making him look like the fool, when in fact he always acts done. He's been upfront with them for the last 12 months saying, this will be my last season. I want to go and try things differently next year. I understand if I've got a contract, but a big offer comes in for me, accept it because you're going to get a lot of money and let me leave and carry on my career elsewhere. I appreciate what you've done for me, but I feel like I need to move on in my career now. And Newcastle have gone against that, so he feels like he's just had the rug pulled out from under him. And now Newcastle are making Alexander Isak look like the bad guy in all this, when I think Newcastle have got to look at themselves quite a lot, personally.
Yeah, I mean, the Newcastle side of things, from the media point of view, has been absolutely awful. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't actually. I'm trying to think if I can remember anything this bad, actually, in terms of poor information, all different information, all it's just all so messed up, and half of it just not even true, really. Let's be honest about it. And you just think to yourself, what the heck is going on? Just get rid of the man. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't even serve Newcastle to hold on to an unhappy player who's obviously doesn't want to be there. That's so it's clear, anyone can see that. So just get on, move on, get your targets in, and come up with a fee, whatever it's going to be, and let's get it all sorted and all this, round and round in circles. And of course, it's all grandstanding, but in the end, fans are not stupid. Liverpool fans are not stupid. I've spoken to some Newcastle fans, and they've said we've accepted he's gone a long time. We've known it's so clear. Just move on and get. Yeah. They even want to get targets in. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, their season's done and dusted.
Yeah, exactly. And
so
look, I think if you look at Isak, I think what Liverpool have done is just everything by the book. I don't think Liverpool have done anything bad here. They got encouragement from Alexander Isak they wanted to leave. Liverpool took that as encouragement and actually offered what they felt like was a good deal to Newcastle, which 110 million up front and then 10 million add-ons is a British transfer record, the biggest transfer in British history of British football. So it's not like Liverpool went in there with a tiny offer. They offered what they think his valuation is. Liverpool don't value him at 150 million quid. To be fair, I don't think anyone does. So Liverpool offered him a great valuation. Again, the owner there, as I said, he just loves this at the bits. He just won't let him leave, and he's putting this ridiculous offer for him. I actually feel sorry for Eddie Howe out of all this, to be fair. Like, I think Eddie Howe just wants his act gone now. He wants him to move on. I think because Newcastle are not going to play Isak anyway. So say they don't get a striker in, Eddie Howe's not going to pick Isak anyway. Right? And he's just going to have a very, very unhappy player there. Fabrizio Romano already put out this afternoon that he's turned down 4 contract offers from Newcastle. He doesn't want to be there. He feels like he's been promised things that haven't happened. Feels like the rug's been pulled out from under him. They're making him look like the bad guy. He's not going to play for Newcastle. So Eddie Howe's got a player there he can't pick. So he can't play him anyway. So
yeah, Eddie Howe's no fool, and at the end of the day, he used to be a player himself, and he knows full well. He came out in one of his very early interviews when he was questioned about this. He said, "No one should stand in the way of a player's career." So he's not stupid. He knows that Isak wants to go to Liverpool. He knows, without admitting it openly, but he knows deep down that Liverpool can give him what Newcastle can't right now. Yeah. Which is the kind of career that he deserves, where he is as a status of a player, how good he is. And he's openly come out and said he doesn't want to be in these championships, Champions League and all this. He wants to win the things. So he knows his best chance is at Liverpool. So, and Eddie Howe saw that. He does actually briefly mention it when he was questioned a bit earlier on in the all this fiasco started. But yeah. So Jamie, what do you reckon happens now? Do you feel like we've still got to wait till they at least get, say, maybe one over the line, whether that's Wisa or another one? Or do you reckon that Liverpool now just say, well, with all this coming out in the open like this, we're just going to bid?
Yeah, so with David Ornstein's comments this morning, I think Liverpool are just doing this now. They're just rubbing their hands, because then comments this morning it makes Liverpool's position a little bit stronger in the market. They will look at it now like, right, Isak's basically, from a Liverpool point of view, they'll say, Isak, like, Liverpool know, I think, everything, because behind the scenes there's going to be a lot of stuff we don't know that's going on. And he's probably looking behind the scenes now, and Isaac's probably already spoken to Liverpool. He's basically telling them, look, I'm not going to play for Newcastle ever again, guys. Don't worry. I'm literally just waiting for your bid. Liverpool were trying to do this the right way and polite way by waiting for Newcastle to say, yeah, you can make a bid. But with these comments today, and me thinking that Eddie Howe just isn't going to play him anyway, so it doesn't matter if they got a striker or not right now. I think Liverpool might put a bid in anyway, and I think if the bid that Liverpool put in next, I think it's accepted because they just can't. I don't think Newcastle can reject another bid. Like they literally, Newcastle don't want Alexander Isak putting in a written transfer request. They don't want
Yeah.
it because as soon as he does that, it's over. And if they reject Liverpool's next bid, I think that is something that will happen. So Liverpool put in a bid. I think their next bid will be 120 million guaranteed, with maybe 10 million add-ons, which makes it 130 million pounds. I think that's going to be very hard for Newcastle to reject. I know they want this mythical 150 number. Just don't think it's ever going to happen. I think they know that as well. They're just trying to save face right now, which I don't blame them. But if Liverpool bid 120 and 10 million add-ons, I think it gets done personally.
And the thing is, it doesn't really matter. From a Newcastle point of view, you might say, you know, in a normal situation, other than this one that we're going through, because it's so public, so open, so obvious. But in another scenario, you might say to yourself, well, okay, so I don't want the world out there knowing we've got this money coming in from this sale because the prices are going to inflate on the players we want. But what we're already seeing when they're going in for these players is that suddenly everyone's at 80 million. Have you noticed that? So,
Yeah.
You know, it's happening anyway. Whatever happens, they are still going to be paying probably over the odds because they've messed it up so much. Isak has told them 1 year ago, I ain't playing for you. I want to leave. So they've got no excuses really to turn around and say, oh, well, you know, we've tried to get our targets in. They're not coming in, whatever. They've had all this time to get it all sorted. So I think, as you say, I think a bid will come in and it'll be around about what they're looking for because they'll know. Everyone will have. There'll been some discussions behind the scenes where there'll be some knowledge of that, I'm sure, and I hope this gets done now, and I really do, you know, because it's been holding us up a little bit, really, because we've got other still things that we need to do, you know. So, which actually brings me on to the next point, really, which is the winger scenario. What do you think's going to happen? I mean, it's quite interesting because I saw an interview with Slot a couple of days ago now, and he was asked a question about Rio, and he said the question was something along the lines of, you know, how amazing this boy is, etc., etc. You know, how he's lit up the summer pre-season, really. And Slot's kind of answer to it was, he mentioned about him, how he's going to develop as he gets older and how he's going to cope with that stardom, how he's going to cope with all them things that a 16-year-old would be going through right now when you're on top of the world like this. So, and you could get the impression that he's going to have the reins on him. So I wasn't even the slightest bit surprised when he never played him the other day, as example. So what I'm trying to say about the wingers is, if anyone in the fan base or whatever was thinking that he's going to be a backup to Gakpo or whatever, that clearly isn't really what's going to happen. So we've obviously got to be thinking about the wingers scenario. So what do you think plays out there? Have you got anyone in mind that you think we might be going for, or what do you reckon happens on the wingers of things?
Look, I'm not quite sure. I spoke about this earlier about the left wing situation. I don't know what Liverpool will go do. So Liverpool as a football club completely rate Rio and think he's the future, and they don't really want to block a pathway into the first team for him.
Yeah.
But if the manager's not thinking that he's quite ready yet and wants to still protect him a little bit, then you probably still need a left wing because Cody Gakpo is very frustrating, as we all know. The thing with Cody, as I said earlier, it wouldn't shock me if Cody scored 2 goals on Friday night, you know, against Bournemouth. He's that kind of player. But then he goes to a lot of games, and as a left, I don't think he's an out-and-out left winger anymore, Cody, because Cody likes to play in that inside channel, that left inside channel, and cut in quite a lot. We haven't, apart from Rio, we haven't got anyone else who runs on the outside, makes the pitch nice and wide, take fullbacks on. Liverpool need a left winger because I don't think Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards look at Cody Gakpo as Liverpool's number one left winger. I think they feel like they can get better in the market. But if you're buying Isaac, maybe two defenders to go with everything else you've paid for this summer, Liverpool might have to feel like they just might have to do what they got, and then look at that again in maybe January or next summer. So yeah, look, if we get Isaac with Ekatike and Verts and everyone else we got, I'm not going to really moan too much because that's a heck of a window in a way. So there might. I think Ekatike could not play at that left-hand side like a Gakpo or a Diaz did, but I think there's a way where you can play Ekatike and Isaac in the same side where he sort of floats over on that left-hand side. You don't really play with that and that left winger, but Ekatike sort of that left-hand side attacker. So I can see that happening as well. So I think Slot will look at what we got within, but I think next summer you could see maybe a left winger coming in because I don't know if Cody's going to be at the club much longer, to be fair.
No, I agree with that. But I tell you what, though, Jamie, I can't wait to see Isak, Verts, Mo Salah.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Once they get an understanding, and I want to say something, guys, in the chat and stuff. We got to stop. We got to stop losing it with the team at the moment. This is a new team coming together. They're learning new stuff. Once Isak's in, and you've got Ekatike and you've got Verts and you've got Mo, even Mo to a certain point, even as experienced he is, he's even finding his way into all of this formation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So the point I'm trying to make is we've got to be a bit patient with this team. We've got to allow them to knit together, gel together. But my God, Jamie, when it does, this is a deadly fault line. It really, really is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you see that against Crystal Palace in the first half where, you could see the connection between Verts and Ekatike is very good already. With Salah and that. Good players just know how to play with each other. Do you know what I mean? They will just be on the same wavelength. But it will take a little bit of time. Once they get really on that wavelength, after a month or two, yeah, it's going to be hard to stop them. But, Verts is an extremely clever, bright footballer. You got Ekatike, who looks to me, you can tell he's a good player straight away. He's got good IQ, good fundamentals. You've got Salah's doing Salah stuff. And if Isaac comes in to finish that forward line off, give it a couple of months and you're probably looking at a very slick and arguably the best forward line in Europe. So, yeah, it's definitely exciting, man. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. In actual fact, you know what? I'm going to put my head on the block, and you can come at me, guys, if this doesn't happen. But I'm predicting that in one of the games, I don't know what game it's going to be, but Liverpool will score 8. There's a game where we're going to get 8. I've even dreamt of it. There's a game coming up somewhere along the line this season where we're going to score 8. We are going to score 8 in a game, in a Premier League game. There you are.
Yeah, definitely should.
Come at me for that if you want, as it don't happen, but that's my prediction.
No, I hear you, man. With that attack, you can definitely see it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, okay, then. So, obviously, we've got to talk about the centre-back scenario a little bit. We've got this young guy. Is it Leone? His name is, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, Giovanni Leone.
I've done a little bit of research on him. I mean, he's a beast of a guy for his age and everything. He's probably not even finished growing yet, so he must be eating lots of Weetabix. But the links have come quite strong in the last 12 hours or so that we really, really are looking at this boy. So, do you see this young boy coming in? And do you think we'll still be? Would you think it'll be? Okay, let me rephrase it. Do you reckon it'll be, because we obviously want Gahey, even if it goes down to the final stages? I think we're really after him. But think this other guy comes in as well? Maybe we're loaning him back or something, or I don't know. Do you think we want to get hold of him because he looks like a real special kid, actually?
I think they're the two centre backs Liverpool are looking at this summer. There's no doubt about that. The more I read about Giovanni Leone, I like. I watched a bit. I watched quite a bit of Italian football. Saw some of him last season. I haven't watched a lot of him to know too much. I've seen some bits, but he looks like he knows what he's doing. I think he's 18 and he's like 6'5" already. He's a beast of a boy already. He's quick as well. He's good in the air. He's got everything it takes to be a Premier League centre back as well. I think Liverpool are very interested in him, and with Mark Gahey. I think with Mark Gahey, Liverpool have had him already if they could have got that price down a little bit. But I think Liverpool are trying to put Crystal Palace into a bit of a corner where they know he's got a year left in his deal, and they're going to leave it as late in the summer as they can to get the best deal for themselves. That's what I think. I think Liverpool want to pay 30 million for Mark Gahey. I think Liverpool rate Mark Gahey as a 50 million pound footballer, but they don't want to pay 50 million pound with 1 year left in his deal. So if they can get him for 30 million, and I think Steve Parish said they will look open to selling him this summer, because if they make 20 million pound on Mark Gahey, that makes them 20 million pound competent on PSR as well next season. So I think Liverpool. I think Liverpool buy both. I think Liverpool buy both.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think they do. And of course, we don't know what's going to happen with Gomez yet. How he comes back and how he's going to fit into the whole thing. But certainly. And Steve Parish is ultimately, at the end of the day, whatever anyone says about him, he's a businessman. So he's going to try and get the best he can. But he's also not stupid. So he's not going to let him run down his contract, So we just got to keep holding on there until the end. And we pretty much, I think he's chosen Liverpool. Gahey from his end. I've read that before now, I think. So he's really wants Liverpool anyway. Who wouldn't? But so that could be right near to the end of the window. But a lot of people think that Isak will go right on to the window. But with all this stuff coming out now, I've got a feeling we might get it done a little bit sooner. I'm not saying we're going to get it done tomorrow, but because they also would love to have that funding in for what they want to do, don't they?
Yeah,
lots the Champions League.
I think Liverpool might. If Liverpool get encouragement to do so, I think they might put a transfer in sometimes this week. I think they might put a bid in. I don't think it's going to be waiting much longer. Obviously, we kick off our season on Friday night. I think Liverpool wants some clarification. I think I read somewhere today that Newcastle bosses are basically going to be talking to Isak and want clarification with Liverpool this week. So I think we might see movement this week. I really do. And what you were saying earlier is very true as well. Newcastle are in a position right now that it doesn't matter if they got Isak or sell Isak. Clubs are going to put a premium on strikers when Newcastle come in for them now, because they all know if I'm a club and one of the selling markets and Newcastle come in for me, I'm going to know straight away they need strikers desperately. They're very desperate for a striker. So I'm going to put a premium on the player that they want and negotiate from there. So that's with Isak or without Isak. So I don't actually think it matters right now getting players in if Isak's there or not. The only thing that matters is if they don't get one in, they've got literally no striker. But yet again, if what we're reading today, Isak's not going to play for Newcastle anyway, so they've got no striker anyway. So that's why I think Liverpool will probably put a bid in this week, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah. I just don't see them rejecting a second bid, because I just don't think they can.
And I think the timing of it is crucial here, because yesterday there was so much coming about. Isak, is going to end up staying. There was all this stuff coming out on Twitter and everything else. I think that's why the club have decided, because Olstein's close to the club, and I think the club have said, right, this is the line we're going down now. We're just going to get the truth out there. This is all going to come out, that he will not be playing no matter what, because their angle is, if it gets closer to the end of the window, no one comes in, Isak will have to stay. Well, we're telling you that's not happening, because at the end of the day, he ain't playing for you, whatever. Even if the window closes and we don't manage to get him over the line, he still ain't playing. That's what he said. That's the comments that have come out. So, as you say, even that angle doesn't show up. And I'm sure that's why yesterday we heard all of this, and then today this has come out. This particular statement's come out from Olstein. It's a very deliberate statement at the right time, I think, to start getting these things moving along here a bit more now. In my opinion.
No, I agree. I agree, man. I agree.
So
I think it will happen, man. I do think it'll happen. I think
mm,
look, I think both clubs have known for a while that this deal will happen. Newcastle are just look. It won't shock me if Newcastle end up getting someone like Nicholas Jackson. Chelsea want
mm,
Nicholas Jackson off their books before the window shuts. They want him gone to get some money back on the players that they bought. They've told him he's not going to play. So
mm,
I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle get someone like a Nicholas Jackson through the door or something like that. And
yeah,
yeah, that would shock me. I think Anthony Gordon might play as a striker as well. So there's
yeah,
options there for Newcastle. But yeah,
mm.
I bet if you ask Eddie Howe right now privately, he'll tell you, I just want his that gone. Just want him
Oh
gone.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think it's been because at the end of the day, it doesn't serve any manager because he's what he wants the team. He wants his team in the team he's going to be working with, and the team that are moving forward. He doesn't want a player who doesn't want to be there. There's no point in that. So this is all about the club, of course, been doing all this gesturing and posturing and all the rest of it.
No,
But yeah. So I wanted to
Fabrizio's
just
just
have a quick.
Fabrizio's
Yeah,
just
carry
said
on.
that. Yeah, Fabrizio's just tweeted and said that Giovanni and Mark Guay are not necessarily alternative options. Liverpool are working on both deals. Both
Right, there
negotiations
you go.
are, are on.
There,
So there you
there
go. Liverpool
you
trying
go,
to get
chap.
both in. I think they will as well.
Yeah, we'll
I
try and
think
get
it'll
both.
be Isaac,
Yeah.
Guay. I think our window will end up being Leone, Guay, Isaac, Verts, Ekatike, Kirkes, and Frimpong.
Mm.
That'll be our window,
Not
which
bad,
is
is it? Not
arguably the
bad.
best, probably the greatest window of all time in British football,
Yeah,
without a
I think
shadow
it
of a
is.
doubt.
Yeah. Well, I've even going right. I've been thinking right back, to even in the early days, because I started supporting the club in '74 as a kid, and yes, of course, we had big deals and stuff like that back then, like Kevin Keegan when he came in and stuff like that. And I think there was a record fee at the time for Emlyn Hughes when he came in,
Yeah,
going back in further. So we've always been. I think you've mentioned it quite a few number of times on your show. We've always been prepared to pay good money for a player if we feel they're worth it. It's never been a
yeah,
problem with Liverpool. And at the end of the day, once we got all these over the line. But what I want to just quickly speak to you about, I won't hold you up too long, Jamie. I know you're a busy guy, but just to
sure.
get your little idea of how things, like in the start of the season, we got quite a tough first sort of like 10 games are pretty tough, actually. I mean, none of them are doddles, as it were. And I'm just wondering your thoughts on how we're going to set up in terms of formation.
I think
If we
it.
get if we get
Yeah,
Isak in and we get all the components we're looking at, what's your thinking?
I think it'll pretty much be the same as it was last year. I think what
Mm,
you're going to be looking at, I think, because against the breakdown of the Crystal Palace game in the league in the Charity Shield was a bit, some people went massively over the top, but when you look at that game, Liverpool didn't have their first choice midfield in. There was no Gravenberch, no McCaz to play in. Yeah, Curtis Jones and Szoboszlai. None of them are defensively minded footballers. Graham Birch, I think, was a big miss. I think we can see now when Graham Birch don't play in our midfield, nothing really works
mm,
as well. So with Graham Birch and McAllister, well, I know Graham Birch won't play against Bournemouth, but for the rest of the season, Graham Birch, McAllister, and Verts will probably be your midfield three. When you got Ekati, when you've got fullbacks like Kirkes and Frimpong, you've bought them knowing what their main strengths are, and their main strengths are attacking fullbacks. I think you'll see a lot next season of Gravenberch playing a lot deeper than he did last season, sitting back a lot more, trying to interrupt counter attacks and clean up counter attacks and transition from that point of view. So I think that'd be Gravenberch's role coming this season, allowing McAllister and Verts to click a little bit more into midfield and get them fullbacks moving forward. I think, look, Liverpool, even under Slot, I know Slot don't like, no manager likes conceding goals, but I don't think he's going. It's about the amount of chances you concede to scoring goals. If you only concede one or two chances a game, but you concede one goal, I don't think the manager's going to be too bothered by that. But it's the amount of chances we're conceding right now that he's not happy with. So if you can knock
yeah,
that by
I agree.
50%, if you knock that by 50%, I think the manager's going to be totally happy. We're still going to play with risk. You don't buy fullbacks like Kirkes and Frimpong. to play defensive-minded football. You're trying to play in the opposition's half. So what Liverpool want to do is literally just play in the opposition's half every single game. And if you do that, you've got more chances of winning games of football, especially if you've got that strike force in front of you as well. But you have got a chance of getting attacked on and being countered on and being exposed at the back, which is a risk you have to play. But if you play Gravenberch a little bit deeper, I think he's hoping that will mop up a lot more of them counter opportunities and hoping in the fullbacks that we got get back in defensive positions a lot quicker, like you did see with Frimpong and Kirkes in the Palace game getting back. But I think that's how we're going to play. We're going to be looking to score goals, especially if you've got Isaac, Ekitike, Salaverts. It's going to be very hard to stop Liverpool not creating and making and scoring goals in a football game. I think Liverpool will win a load more games and they will lose games, obviously. And because of that reason, Liverpool will be fighting for every trophy next season. So I'm not in a big worry. Depth, maybe you can talk about in some positions, but if we get our two centre-backs in straight away, what you got there is 5 defenders. You got 5 centre backs. If you want to play Frimpong as a right wing option in some games instead of Mo Salah, and you're worried about the right back situation, you've got because you've got 5 centre backs now. You can play Joe Gomez as the right back with a Conor Bradley. So straight away you got that depth there where you can move pieces and puzzles everywhere. So yeah, I think the team will look completely different if the 2 centre backs come in and Isaac coming. For everything else we got, he can set up the way he wants to play on that front foot, high press, possession-based football, build-up play in that opposition area. But there will be a risk to it. We will get counted on occasionally and things like that. And it's just the way we're going to play. But I don't mind that. I'd rather play that than sitting back, sideways passing, creating only 2 chances a game. No one wants to see that, do they?
No. We want the exciting football. We want to be on the front foot. Slots mentioned a couple of times. He mentioned it a little bit last year, and he mentioned it this year. And I think one thing he will try to do is just have a bit more possession, because I don't think at the moment we've had the possession he wants.
No, yeah.
And I think he's after that. So I think that's he's going to be working a lot on that as those early games get on. Us trying to have a lot more of the ball. Yes, interceptions happen, transitions happen. We know that's going to happen, and it will happen. It just will. And we can be up the front 1 minute and it's down near our goal the next. And we're going to concede. We will be 1 down sometimes in games and things like that. It's going to happen. But with the firepower we got, and once we get into these games, I agree with you. It's going to be a bit like last year, where, we just do the job, and Slot is a very, very good manager, I think, in terms of his tactics and stuff,
Yeah.
That game against, was it Fulham, where he made about 10 changes in the one half?
When Robbo got sent off, wasn't it? And Robbo got sent off.
He done about 10 tactical changes.
Yeah, because he wanted to win the game still. So instead of putting so we didn't defend. Robbo came off and he put an attacker on because he felt like we still had enough talent on the pitch and firepower to win that game of football. And again, he's like, it's risky because we got one less defensive player if we get counted on. But he's like, I still want to win the game of football. We ended up drawing that game 2-2, and I think actually as the second half was going, we was actually on the front foot and the better team, and actually pushing Fulham back with 10 men. So, he's tactically aware, Slot, and as you say, once these players all link up and gel, that team is going to be very hard to stop.
It's going to be something else. It really is going to be. It's going to be, dare I say it, like some of them late 70s, early 80s teams. It's going to be very like that, I believe, because we used to control the games and pass so brilliantly then. And I think it's going to be the same. I think we're heading down that same road, and the quality of the players, would just stratospherically gone up. I never predicted we'd have this kind of a window at all, I knew we'd bring players in, but not like this, and of course everyone's crashing out on Verge and Mo, but come on guys, we're going to be fine, they're going to be fine, and
he made 2 mistakes, but Verge made 2 mistakes. He'll probably admit he made them mistakes, but I think he's just getting over tonsillitis as well, so you got to give him a bit of benefit of doubt. I doubt Verge makes another mistake all season, so I won't worry.
No, that's right. Yeah. You won't want it. Well, thanks so much, Jamie, for joining us. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to put obviously your link in the description. I don't know if there's any point because most of my subscribers come from you because you've been such an amazing guide to me with sending people over to me and stuff like that. I do really appreciate it. But yeah, it'd be nice to do it again sometime. Maybe one time in the season, maybe we can get together and do a sort of where we're at that point or something like that. And
oh yeah, definitely.
no, thanks very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. And everybody in the chat there, thank you so much as well. I appreciate you coming over, joining in. Scottish Bear, big up, man. And Harry, Edwards, thanks so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Just starting now, really just getting more into doing a bit more regular stuff because I have another concentrating now on my Liverpool stuff. So I want to really give this channel a real good go and history stuff to do with Liverpool, like the old teams and stuff like that and all that kind of thing. Then I'm going to do a few shows around that as well. So yeah, but anyway, that's enough of that. But thanks, Jamie, for giving up a bit of your time. I do really appreciate it, mate. And you have a great day, yeah?
You're right,
and I'll catch you on stream soon.
Yeah.
All right then. Bye.